So, I'm going to be doing a review of a comic that I have long wanted to get, and I think I might have paid a little too much. So, for those who are unaware, there is a site called Thrift Books, and I've recently discovered it thanks to my friend Chris. And I've managed to find books that I've long wanted, like the Wonder Woman Conan book, which I was like, on. I don't know if I'll do a review on it, but I was just kind of like, on it. I've also gotten the Vampirella versus Hack Slash comic, and I've managed to collect some of the Universal Monster novels and some Simpsons comics on the side because I like those. Anyway, so one of those books I've been dying to find was this. And Thrift Books, basically, they get it from other, like, third parties, like people who donate them or libraries that have gone out of business. Such is the case with this, because this was a library book. Anyway, so this book we're going to be talking about is Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens, which is such a, it's such a jumbled title. In fact, the full title is Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens, Splice and Dice. It should have been just why did they name it like such a jumbled mess? Like, it should be Judge Dredd versus Alien versus Predator. That works so much better phonetically. So yeah, this is a comic that I've been wanting to read for the longest time, for a multitude of reasons. One, Judge Dredd crossovers are usually good. There's never been a really bad one I've encountered. And I've been really dying to find the Mars Attacks Judge Dredd crossover. I've been looking for that forever. I cannot find it. I had it once in my hand, and then I missed my chance to get it. So this comic here. There's a multitude. Another reason why I wanted to get this book was because this is the one of the last things Dark Horse did before they lost the comic rights to Alien and Predator. Now, this is technically the last Alien crossover that Dark Horse did, and also I believe it's the second to last Predator crossover they did. I think what came out next was Archie versus Predator 2, this one came next, and then it was Archie versus Predator 2. But yeah, basically this was one of the last ones they did. And I think IDW still has kind of the comic rights to Judge Dredd. I'm not 100% sure where they sit on that. But yeah. So this also isn't the first time Judge Dredd has crossed over with Alien and Predator. In fact, there were two separate crossovers where Judge Dredd fought Alien and Predator separately. And they actually make callbacks to that in this book. But yeah, I've always wanted to read the Judge Dredd versus Predator book. I've actually owned the Judge Dredd versus Alien comic, which I actually have gone on record saying it's one of the best crossovers I've ever read. So yeah, it's kind of cool that this is a follow-up to that story. So finally, let's get into said comic. So this comic is written by John Layman, who most of you guys would know best as the writer and creator of the comic Chew from Image Comics. He's also done a few other books here and there, and he's done crossovers before for other comics, but most of you guys would know him probably best for Chew. Now, this book, like I said, is kind of a sequel to the two Judge Dredd, Alien, and Predator crossovers that they've done before, having Judge Dredd fight Alien and Predator. Or rather, I should say that this is more of a comic that has Predators and kind of aliens. Let me explain. And it's a 4-issue comic that feels like it should have been 5 or 6. Because this falls under the thing of doing way too much in too little time. So here's the story. Basically, a predator has been captured by a group of gene splicers led by a spider humanoid doctor named Dr. Reinstadt. And Reinstadt is like a Dr. Moreau who wants to genetically alter humans and animals and make copies from them. They also find the Predator's ship and take a xenomorph skull and one of the captured facehuggers they had. The Predator, however, called his friends. However, the Predalien, we do get a Predalien here, I'll cut to the chase, is also created from Dr. Reinstadt. And basically, they make Reinstadt creates xenomorph animal men hybrids to kill everyone, apparently. That's his whole goal, is just kill everyone. But, however, at the same time, the Judge Dredd and a squad of judges, including Anderson, are on the hunt for a villain called Archbishop Emoji, who is a robot who talks in, like, texting. Like, sad face emoji, LOL, all of that. I feel like, honestly, this really does feel like John Layman wanted to write a Judge Dredd comic, which I don't think he's written main Judge Dredd. He had an idea for Judge Dredd stories involving these two villains, like Archbishop Emoji and Dr. Reinstadt, but he couldn't get them in a main comic, so what he did was just throw them into this crossover with Alien and Predator, which doesn't really have aliens, it just has alien-human hybrids, alien-beastmen hybrids. I have to believe that Layman has to have been a fan of the Kenner toys, because, honestly, there's a scene in here where he shows off the animal xenomorph hybrids, and they straight up look like the Kenner toy, like Bull Alien and Snake Alien and all of that. The Predators themselves also, show up, and they're more of allies. There isn't really much of a versus with the Predator with Dredd. It's more of Dredd teaming up with the Yautja, who were here to rescue the first guy who got Pred-aliened, and they help extinguish the Xenomorph hive. Yeah. This comic does way too much in way too little time. It's 4 issues, and the first 2 issues, the Predators don't even encounter Dredd till the 3rd. The first 2 are just like 4 separate stories going on, and then it feels like Layman was like, oh shit, I forgot. I've only got 2 issues left, and I gotta write across, and these characters all have to interact. We get a Pred-alien, but it's gone in the next issue. We get like a Xenomorph Dredd hybrid, Judge hybrid, which is weird. And again, we don't get real Xenomorphs. We just get hybrid Xenomorphs. Was it really that hard, honestly? Was it that hard to do a crossover that's just Alien and Predator with Judge Dredd and not have like an Island of Dr. Moreau thing going on, as well as like this weird robot who only serves to get a plot hole fixed, and then he's killed the next issue. I don't care if I spoil that. Yeah, this comic is not terrible, but it's definitely a comic that I feel like I spent a little too. This cost $30 to get off of Thrift Books. It was the only one, and I was like, yeah. And remember, this comic is only $17.99. I paid double, not double, but I paid a lot more than I should have for this book. But it was it's such a hard book to find now because Dark Horse and IDW don't have this in print anymore, and the trades are only going to go up and higher. Am I happy I got it? Yeah, I am. Same way I'm happy that I got the Conan Wonder Woman crossover, because that book is getting harder and harder to find, because Conan the Barbarian's no longer under Dark Horse. That was the last Conan story they did before they lost the rights to, guess what, Marvel, who and then lost them to Titan Books. Anyway, do I recommend this? If you can find it priced less, give it a shot. Like, if you can find this comic for a better price, I would say give it a solid look. It's not a horrible book, and it's a cool callback to Judge Dredd versus Aliens and Judge Dredd versus Predator. But there isn't really. I feel like it could have worked better if it had at least, at the bare minimum, it was a 5-parter instead of a 6-parter, because it really does feel like John Layman is trying to do like 7 different things with this villain Reinstadt and this other villain Archbishop Emoji, and then you throw in the Predators, and you don't use the Predators a lot. You don't even bother with regular Xenomorphs. Hell, the Xenomorph Queen we get is like a spider Xenomorph hybrid at the end. Yeah. Like I said, I've encountered worse crossovers. This is just kind of, to put it plainly, a mid one. But it is, like I said, it is cool to see this comic as a whole, because, again, this is a comic that is kind of a showcase of what Alien and Predator was before they went to Marvel. Not to say the comics aren't bad at Marvel, But this is one of the last times we got to see Dark Horse really showcase how their crossovers with Alien and Predator. I wish they got to do more before they lost it. I know the last ones they did were, again, the Predator versus Archie books, and then there was this one, and there was also a Vampirella versus Alien book, which I also acquired. It was another white whale of mine, so to speak. So there you go, guys. That's my review for Judge Dredd versus Alien versus Predator. I feel like that should have been the title instead of this jumbled mess. But yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below. If you've read this comic, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.